Mike Tyson walks into a luxury hotel and is slammed with racism by the manager. But the fallout from this shocking encounter destroys the hotel's reputation and changes the industry forever. Mike Tyson arrived at one of Manhattan's most prestigious hotels after a long day. It had been a successful evening. He had just spoken at a charity gala aimed at supporting underprivileged kids. Tyson's life had evolved from being a boxing legend to an advocate for second chances. He was tired but in good spirits as he entered the Grand Hotel lobby. The place screamed luxury, polished marble floors, shimmering chandeliers, and well-dressed staff attending to every guest's needs. Tyson, dressed in a sleek black suit, strode confidently toward the reception desk. But as he approached, he noticed the manager behind the desk glance at him briefly before whispering something to the receptionist and walking away. Tyson brushed it off at first. He wasn't someone to jump to conclusions. Approaching the desk, he gave the receptionist a warm smile. "Good evening. I've got a reservation under Tyson," he said. The receptionist seemed flustered, her fingers hesitating over the keyboard. Let me check," she stammered. A moment later, the manager returned, standing beside the receptionist with a stiff demeanor. "Is there a problem here?" Tyson asked, his voice calm but firm. The manager looked him up and down, his expression betraying a hint of disdain. "I'm not sure we have any availability," he said, ignoring the fact that the receptionist had clearly found Tyson's reservation on her screen. Tyson frowned. "I booked a suite weeks ago. It's confirmed," he said, his patience wearing thin. The manager leaned closer, lowering his voice as if trying to shield his words from other guests. "Mr. Tyson, perhaps this isn't the kind of establishment you're used to. I'm sure there are other places that would better suit your preferences." The room seemed to freeze. Tyson stared at the man, disbelief washing over him. "Excuse me?" he said, his voice dangerously quiet. "I think you'd be more comfortable somewhere else," the manager replied with a fake smile. Tyson took a deep breath. He had dealt with prejudice before, but it never failed to sting. Deciding not to escalate the situation in the moment, he simply said, "All right, I'll take my business elsewhere." As he turned to leave, a few guests who had witnessed the exchange looked on, some whispering, others pulling out their phones. By the next morning, social media had erupted. Multiple guests had posted videos of the encounter, and it was impossible to ignore the wave of outrage that followed. News outlets picked up the story with headlines like, "Mike Tyson denied service, a new low for Manhattan luxury," dominating the news cycle. Tyson, however, stayed silent, letting the public reaction play out. Behind the scenes, his team was busy gathering every detail of the incident. The hotel's initial response was dismissive. They issued a brief statement claiming it was a misunderstanding, but that only fueled the fire. A few days later, Tyson broke his silence. He posted a video on his social media channels, his voice calm but filled with conviction. "I've faced discrimination my whole life," he began. "It didn't stop me then, and it won't stop me now. But this isn't just about me. It's about every person who's been made to feel like they don't belong. It's about reminding the world that no matter where you come from or what you look like, you deserve respect." The video went viral within hours, with millions sharing it across platforms. Celebrities, athletes, and activists expressed their support, turning the incident into a nationwide conversation about racism in high-end spaces. Soon after, an investigative journalist dug deeper into the hotel's practices. What they uncovered was shocking. The manager in question had a history of complaints for discriminatory behavior. Former employees came forward, sharing stories of bias and mistreatment, both towards staff and guests. The hotel faced a public relations nightmare. Protesters gathered outside the building, demanding accountability. High-profile clients canceled their bookings, and the establishment's reputation crumbled. The manager was swiftly fired, but the damage had been done. The hotel announced a complete overhaul of its policies, including mandatory diversity training for all staff. Tyson, however, wasn't interested in just an apology. He saw an opportunity to turn this incident into something meaningful. In the weeks that followed, Tyson partnered with several organizations advocating for racial equity in the hospitality industry. He launched a campaign called Belonging Everywhere, aimed at combating discrimination in public spaces. He hosted seminars, shared his story, and encouraged others to speak up. Meanwhile, the former manager's life took a dramatic turn. As more details about his behavior emerged, he became a symbol of what not to do in the industry. He struggled to find new employment, his name now synonymous with prejudice. In a surprising twist, Tyson reached out to him privately. The man, now humbled by his fall from grace, agreed to meet. What followed was an emotional conversation, with Tyson sharing his perspective and urging the man to learn and grow from his mistakes. "I don't hate you," Tyson told him, "but you need to understand the damage you've done, not just to me, but to everyone you've treated this way. Change isn't easy, but it's necessary." Months later, Tyson returned to Manhattan for another charity event. This time, he chose a different hotel, one that had publicly embraced his message of inclusivity. As he entered the lobby, he was greeted with warm smiles and open arms. During a press conference, Tyson reflected on the incident. "It's not about revenge," he said. "It's about progress. We're all human, and we all make mistakes. But it's what we do after those mistakes that define us." The story wasn't just about Mike Tyson anymore. It had become a movement, a powerful reminder that even in the face of discrimination, change is possible. For Tyson, it was yet another fight he had won, not with his fists, but with his integrity.